Don't get me down.
Hello, I'm back. So I've done another video. It's just the intro. It seems like when I do these videos, I go into a different space. It's like a different person, and then I gotta come out and explain himself. So anyway, this video is a little bit shorter. It's more focused on the repressed memories and what that process is like. And I went on YouTube and I saw some videos about repressed memories, and some of these psychiatrists, or whatever you want to call them, there was even one, Dr. Phil, and it's just like legal mumbo jumbo and cover your ass jargon that they all spew about repressed memories, about how they're not really real, or it's debatable whether or not they're real, and how therapists can cause these memories by insinuating things and getting misleading the patient into thinking that something happened, and maybe that possibility exists, but fuck you is what I say to those motherfuckers, because I'm a fucking living, breathing human being who has lived through these memories, and you're not gonna fucking tell me that somebody suggested this shit. Okay? I'm telling you, that's bullshit. First of all, I hadn't been seeing any therapist. I've never had a therapist make any suggestion about any kind of abuse. Ever. And I've been seeing therapists my whole life. And I never had a therapist say something, well, is it possible there was some abuse, and try to mislead me down some path to, whatever. In fact, I never talked about abuse because I never thought I had been abused. I didn't realize it until much later, when the memories came back, when the memories were triggered, not by any kind of misleading statements from a freaking therapist. This was shit that came to me on my own. So, that's all BS. Dr. Phil and all the other videos that I saw, and I just kept hearing this legal mumbo jumbo, and it was all basically cover your ass. Well, they're all afraid that, if we believe that the possibility exists that there are repressed memories and that you can recover them, then that changes things on a legal basis. Well, maybe it does. I don't know. If there's no way you can prove it, fine, whatever. But don't tell me, because I know. I've been there. These memories came to me. I was not looking for them. I did not want them. In fact, when I started to discover them, I went the other way because I didn't want them. I didn't want to believe they were real. And that was where the denial came in for years. Just want to get that out because it's really frustrating, because it's basically denying me and anyone else that has had this experience that it is even real, that it exists. They all tend to agree, from what I can tell, that these memories exist, but where the dispute is whether or not you can recover these memories. Well, I guess we can have that debate, but I'm a living, breathing human being who has had this experience. I guess I just wanted to bring that up for all of you who are out there who feel that there's something there that they have repressed, and then they see something like that and then they push it aside, which is what I did. I didn't even need that to push it aside because I just knew it was something I didn't want to experience. But once I did experience it, the last thing I need is somebody to sit there and tell me it's not real. I had a hard enough time believing it on my own without having someone else tell me it was all some kind of fantasy. Believe me, nobody wants this kind of fantasy. This is not some... why would I dream this shit up? Why would I want to experience... I'm not looking for legal action. I'm not out trying to sue somebody or get someone put in jail. I'm just trying to heal. So why would I want to bring all this crap up? For what? The joy of the experience? Anyway, so in this video, you can see me still, even now today, struggling with the denial about what happened. And I talk a lot about, how important it is to write about it or express it in some way, how important that is to get it out of your system somehow in a safe manner. So anyway, these videos are not, I'm not coming from a place of being a professional, so just want to get that out there. I'm not a professional, but I have lived this experience. So take that or leave it. That's your choice. Anyway, this is the second video, and hopefully there'll be a third. Enjoy the video. Thank you. I've faced the demons. I've faced my pain. I've faced the images that were buried in my mind for most of my life. And it's painful. It's difficult. It changes you. And the biggest struggle I had was denial, because I just didn't want to believe or couldn't believe what happened. The abuse I suffered as a child was unbelievable. So because it's unbelievable, you don't want to believe it. And then you start to think, or I started to think that I was making it up, that it wasn't real, that it was just my imagination, and I was just looking for an excuse why I was so fucked up and why I couldn't get my life on track and why things never seemed to work out. And I was just looking for an excuse. All that does is makes it worse, because you're just basically discounting yourself. You're saying that you don't exist, that your personal experiences aren't real, and that you have no value. And that doesn't work. But it's hard to acknowledge what happened. It's hard to acknowledge those images that come. So denial is a powerful tool, and it's a survival mechanism. I mean, without it, I might not have survived. So the denial is a tool, but it only works for a while. I mean, eventually, it doesn't work anymore. And so, it's like I struggle with this. What's the point? What's the point of digging into all this pain and suffering and agony and misery and no, I guess the point is, like I said in the beginning, you can't escape it, so you might as well deal with it. And hopefully in that process, you find some kind of healing. And I guess what I'm really dealing with right now is, now it's become my identity. I'm an adult male survivor of childhood sexual abuse. It's a label. It's not who I am, but it's a label. And it describes my experience. But it's not who I am. I think that's what I'm struggling with most. Because I have taken that identity and I've owned it. Now I don't want to let it go because it's my identity. So do I want to stay in this place with this identity and be in pain and misery? Or do I want to move forward to a new place, to a new identity? And I guess that's where I'm stuck. Because again, we come back to the unknown. The unknown is what we fear. So a new identity is an unknown. I mean, I really don't know who I am anymore. I've gone through so many what do you call it? So much self-discovery. And it basically tears you down. And then it's like, okay, who the hell are you? The first thing that happens when you acknowledge the abuse, you actually acknowledge it and own it, you question your whole life. You question everything about yourself, because now it's like, well, who the fuck am I then? And what have I been doing? Because I've just been running, constantly running. And it's just like you don't want to stop, because as soon as you stop and you turn around, there it is. There it is, looking right at you. So you turn and run some more, and you run some more, and you run, and you try to find another way, another outlet, another source, another direction, another focus. And sometimes you find it and it works and it's great and you're happy and you're moving forward, and then for some reason you stop and you look back and fuck, there it is. And everything comes crashing down. So yeah, for me, the answer to the question of why would somebody want to look at their abuse, especially at my age, 58. So it happened when I was 8, from 8 to 11. So 50 years ago. And I'm going to dig that shit up and start looking at it and rummaging through it and trying to understand what the fuck's going on. Why the fuck would you want to do that? There's only one word that fits, and that's hope. The reason why you would do that is because you hope on the other side of that is some kind of salvation, some kind of healing, some kind of inner peace. And I've given up hope many times because I've hung my hat on hope, and hope's not very powerful sometimes. But hope's a pretty weak tool against some of the shit that happens to people. What the fuck has hope done for me? Every time I fucking put my hat on hope, put my money on it, and then I end up back here, fuck hope. And here I am again, putting my faith in hope. Just a word. That's all I got. Because really, otherwise, what's the point? And there's no guarantees. I could put all this energy and effort out and still end up here. But it really depends on me and what I'm willing to do and what decisions I'm willing to make, and am I willing to decide that this is not going to be the last thing for me, is to be in this misery and this pain and this hell. It's not going to be the end for me. The thing that happens that people don't realize about when a child is abused is that it changes him, and it's like, or her, it's like you've got a freaking neon sign over your head and the abusers spot you a fucking mile away. They see you and they zero right in on you. You are freaking prey, man. And they are the fucking wolves and you're a fucking little rabbit, and they're going to shred you. So once it happens, now you're a target. And then it can happen again and again and again and again. You know, for a long time, I'm like, hey, this isn't true. This couldn't have been. It couldn't have been like that. There's just no way. There's no fucking way. Why would I make this shit up? Why would I think of this stuff? Anyway, this is one of my earliest memories. In fact, it may even be the first or second time that I experienced the abuse. And I know who the person is in this story, but I'm not going to name the person. That's a whole nother discussion, whether or not to do that. I mean, these are experiences that happened 50 years ago or so. I don't know. This is called Fog. I am a rotting, decaying corpse that lives. I move through each day like a small, corrupt boat in the fog, rocking against the waves of lies and deceit. There is no direction in this unrelenting, suffocating fog. I am always terrified and I do not know why. I want this to end. I am tired. I just want to sleep. I've all but given up on my sad, empty life. I do not know what keeps me here. Maybe it's that hopeful spark of light I sometimes catch a glimpse of it through this unyielding, soulless fog. I am sick to my stomach. Something inside me stirs and I feel nauseous. I taste the bile rising in my throat. I cannot breathe. What is haunting my mind and body? What is this ruthless, mortal dread? Suddenly, a brilliant light breaks through the fog. This is not a warm, shining light of hope, no. This is a light of discovery, a searing, painful illumination. The light shines upon something I do not want to see, a dark, empty memory from my childhood. Now I am praying for that fog, that merciful black fog that concealed everything. As time spins backwards, I realize that I am a frightened child. I'm 8 years old. Illusions and fear are all that I know. I am plummeting in the darkness towards a depthless, innate terror. When I have reached my destination in time, I realize I am somewhere dark and cold, inside some kind of small wooden shed. There's someone else in here and I cannot see who it is. The person is touching me and I do not like it, and I hear my small voice say, "No, stop it." They do not stop. I hear the words they speak. "If you do not let me touch you, then no one will love you. You must be quiet and everything will be okay." I do not want to be quiet. I want to scream, but I do not. I'm quiet and weak and I feel sick. Everything becomes muffled and blurred. I struggle to break free, but I cannot. All I can do is wait for the person to stop. After what feels like an eternity, they just stop. I lay there in the dark, feeling cold and numb. My face is pressed against a large crack in the old wood floor. I could smell the damp earth rising up through it. I turn my head and see thin slivers of light streaming through cracks in the wall. Although there is not enough light to see who is in the shed with me, I know who it is. I pretend that I don't. It's easier that way. As the person leaves, they remind me not to tell anyone, or they will tell everyone what a bad boy I am and that it is my fault. No one will love you anymore. The person doesn't need to say anything. I already know. No one will believe me. I feel dirty and shameful, and that no one loves me or even cares about me. However, if I keep the secret, there is a chance that I will be loved. As long as nobody knows, I feel isolated and I do not want to go out into the daylight. I'm afraid the light will expose me and people will know that I am a bad person. I somehow have forced myself to get up. On my knees, I feel around the darkness, brushing my hands across the rough, uneven floor. I find my underwear and my pants. I can feel the dirt and wood slivers on my clothes. I try to brush them off. I put my clothes on and slowly step outside. The sun is bright. I squint and shade my eyes with my hand until my eyes adjust. Everything outside the shed seems normal. There's no one around, but I feel a sense of urgency that I must leave before someone sees me. I walk home alone and sad, my head down and shoulders slumped. My feet shuffle as I walk, and tears begin to fall. I do not want to go home, but I have nowhere else to go. I try to block the memories as I walk. They keep playing over and over in my head, like some scary movie, except this one is real. I walk up the pathway towards the front porch. The porch is made of a smooth light green concrete, and there's a planter made out of the same concrete to the left of the door. All the plants are dead. The brown front door has small glass windows up high on the door. The glass is yellow and wavy. I open the door and step on the oddly shaped, shiny brown tiles in the entryway. I am greeted with the smell of food cooking. I look to my left, and through the open door I see my mother in the kitchen cooking dinner. She seems busy, and I do not want to bother her. I don't want to tell her what happened. I want to tell her what happened, but I'm afraid she will not believe me. Besides, even if she does, she will say it's my fault, and she will not love me anymore, just like the person in the dark shed said. She turns and sees me standing in the doorway. She smiles and says, "There you are. Dinner is almost ready. Tell your brothers and sisters." I want to say something. I want to tell her that something bad happened, but I do not. I just keep my head down. I turn from her and do what I'm told. Part of me hopes that she will notice how sad I am and ask me what happened. However, she's too busy cooking for 10 kids and dealing with an alcoholic husband. I'm soon lost in the fray of chaos that is my home. We all sit down at the dinner table and everything seems perfectly normal. My father says grace and we eat. I try to forget what happened to me, and I watch my father as he pours a glass of wine. He's in a good mood tonight, and I do not want to do anything to upset him. I quietly eat my dinner, and as the noise and commotion of the family chatters on around me, I'm not hungry, and the food seems to have no flavor. I only eat because I know that if I don't, my dad will get angry. I feel disconnected and everything seems dreamlike. Soon I will forget about everything. The voices and the dinner sounds begin to fade as my world becomes dim and blurred. I wish I could just disappear. Then, slowly, a thick, dark fog appears and surrounds me. For the first time in a long time, I feel safe. It is dark and there is no sound except for the gentle lapping of water at the shore. I'm standing at the edge of some unknown beach. The ground is soft and wet. I notice that I'm slowly sinking into it. I know if I don't move, I will be swallowed by it. I can see an outline of something in the distance. It's a rough wooden dinghy at the water's edge. I step down the muddy bank and my shoes make squishy sounds as I walk. I push the small gray boat away from the shore and jump in. It's just big enough for a small boy to lie down in. I do not know where I'm going. It's dark, cold, and lonely, but the funny thing is, I feel safe. I drift further out into the black fog. In the distance, I hear a faint sound, and slowly I realize that it is my family. I do not care about them anymore. Besides, I do not belong. Soon their voices fade away to nothing. I lie down and hear the gentle lapping of the water against the dinghy. My eyes close as the methodical rocking motion lulls me to sleep. As he sleeps, the fog engulfs the child in the small gray dinghy, and soon he vanishes. All that is left is the mist upon the black water and the faint sound in the distance of a child crying. The sound of his pain never ceases and continues to this day. The child is never seen again, but he still lives. He's lost deep inside the soul of a man. In a relentless pursuit of the child, the pain and fear continue through the man. He keeps the child safe, buried under the layers of self-denial and anger. Lies, deception, and love are all the same to him. The boundaries have been blurred and are eternally frozen in that moment of time many years ago. Okay. That is a story called Fog. And it's not a story that I made up. It's a story of something that happened to me. And that is really it's cathartic for me to read that. Even though it's painful. Every time I read it, I cry. I think, oh, if I read it enough, I can get through it without being emotional. But always something different triggers the emotion. It sucks because I like to be able to read it and get through it without people seeing me a blubbering mess, but I can't seem to do it. Anyway, that story talks a lot about the denial, or where the denial comes from. So, the child gets in the boat and he's surrounded by the fog and he just disappears, and that's really what happened. Because to survive, I had to shove that child deep down inside and cover him up and hide him, keep him safe. The thing is, you're not really keeping him safe. He still gets the experiences, and all you're doing is suffocating him. And it took me a long time to learn that. I had to let him out. I had to reconnect with him and apologize for what I did. Because basically what I did was abuse. But it's all part of the process of trying to find some healing. The inner child hears me read that story, and he begins to trust me again. Because I'm acknowledging him and his experience. There's nothing worse than having something happen to you and everybody deny your experience. So, you hear about the Me Too movement. Well, really, that's kind of what it's all about. It's just acknowledging these people and what they've been through. And there's something healing about that. So each time I do this, whether I talk about it or write about it, it's a little bit better. It helps a little bit. Not a lot. It's not like this great light shines and all of a sudden everything's better. It's not like that, but I just feel a little bit better. So I guess in this video, the last video I did was pretty bad. I mean, I was in bad shape, but I needed to do that, and it needed to be that way. It needed to be raw, and that was healing for me. I'm hoping that these videos get a little easier and not so emotional, and that I can be more positive. I don't want people leaving with this feeling of despair, which I would, if I watched this video, would feel like shit when it was over. So I don't want that. I want you to know that there's hope. I want you to know that healing is possible. I'm not there yet. I'm not going to lie. But I know that it's there. The possibility is there. The potential for a better life is there. I have to believe that. Otherwise, there's no point. No point going on. No point in doing videos. No point getting up in the morning. So whatever your demons are, whatever your pain is, there's hope. Get help. I'm getting help. You need help. It's not something you can do on your own. This is not something anybody can do on their own. And I've tried. I have tried. I've wasted years of my life trying to work around it. You can't. You gotta hit it head on. Maybe baby steps, but head on. And as soon as you do that, it takes away some of the power, some of the strength that it has over you. Find a safe place, a safe person. Writing helps because it helps you to get it out, get it on the page. And it's safe because it's just you and the page or the computer or whatever you're doing, whatever your process is. It's just you. So it's safe. I can write. When I wrote this a long time ago, probably close to 10 years ago. And when I wrote it, I was like, where the fuck did this shit come from? And I put it away and never looked at it again. And then one day I was going through some stuff and I was flipping through some notebooks and there it was, and I read it and I was like, whoa. So sometimes it doesn't mean anything in the moment, but it might later. Maybe in the moment when you're writing it, you're just getting it out. It's just coming out of you. You don't have to understand it. It doesn't have to make sense. You just need to get it out. Now I understand it. Now it makes complete sense to me. But 10 years ago, I was just like, where the hell did this come from? I mean, I just didn't connect with it. I mean, I felt it. I mean, it was very emotional, but I just the denial was still, I was still deep in the denial. So denial is powerful. And then the time I came back and read it, that's when it really hit me, because the denial had eased and I was really able to see what I wrote. And I wrote stuff the other day, and I wrote all this stuff, and I looked at it, I'm reading, I'm going, what the fuck does this mean? I have no idea. But maybe it'll make sense later. So whether it's writing or talking or video or art, I used to do a lot of drawing. I don't do much drawing anymore. any way to get that get it out of your system. It's like this black. I just visually see it as like this foul smelling black liquid inside my soul, and it's just suffocating me and it's burying me. And when I get it out, I have a little less of that inside of me now. So don't give up. There is hope. This is the second video. Hopefully there'll be a third. We'll see if I can do another one. In the meantime, if you like this video, you want to see more videos like this, if you have questions about what I'm talking about, leave a message in the comments. Hit like if you like it, and dislike if you dislike it. And I wish all of you peace and happiness. Thank you.
Don't get me down.